Nerva was the first of the 5 good emperors and first of the Nerva-Antonine dynasty, proclaimed emperor after the murder of Domitian. He would begin his service to the state under Nero and later swear fealty to the Flavians, who would grant him consulships in 71 and 90. On the same day of Domitian's death, Nerva was declared emperor by the Roman Senate. As the new ruler of the Roman Empire, he vowed to restore liberties which had been curtailed during the autocratic government of Domitian. He would be unable to wrestle control of the Roman army, and after a revolt of the Praetorian Guard, he would resort to adopting Trajan, a popular general. After dying of natural causes, he was succeeded and deified by Trajan. Although much of his life remains obscure, Nerva was considered a wise and moderate emperor by ancient historians. Nerva's greatest success was his ability to ensure a peaceful transition of power after his death by selecting Trajan as his heir, thus founding the Nerva-Antonine dynasty. Trajan was the adopted son of Nerva. Officially declared Optimus Princeps, or best ruler, by the Senate, Trajan is remembered as a successful conqueror, builder, and policymaker. His reign would mark peace and prosperity domestically. Born in Italica, in what is close to Seville in Spain today, from a senatorial family, Trajan would gain importance during Domitian. He would reshape the city of Rome's landscape by building Trajan's Forum, Trajan's Market, and Trajan's Column. He would conquer the Nabatean kingdom, Dacia, Armenia, Mesopotamia, Assyria, and sack the Parthian capital of Ctesiphon. Falling ill and dying from a stroke in the city of Selinus, Trajan would be deified by the Senate. His ashes would be entombed in a small room beneath Trajan's Column. Hadrian was the first cousin of Trajan, allegedly adopted on his deathbed. Hadrian married Trajan's grandniece, Vibia Sabina, early in his career before Trajan became emperor, and possibly at the behest of Trajan's wife, Pompeia Plotina. Plotina and Trajan's close friend and advisor, Lucius Licinius Sura, were well disposed towards Hadrian. When Trajan died, his widow claimed that he had nominated Hadrian as emperor immediately before his death. Though his succession was generally approved of, leading opposition was unlawfully put to death, which in turn made the Senate never forgive Hadrian. Hadrian would abandon Trajan's territorial gains, with exclusion to parts of Dacia. After securing the borders, he would begin mass construction projects across the empire. He would rebuild the city of Jerusalem and name it Aelia Capitolina, after himself and the temple of Jupiter that had been built over the ruins of the Second Temple. Due to his love of sodomy, he would have an unhappy and childless marriage with his wife. Antoninus Pius was the adopted son of Hadrian. Born into a senatorial family, Antoninus held various offices during the reign of Emperor Hadrian. He married Hadrian's niece Faustina, and Hadrian adopted him as his son and successor shortly before his death. He would acquire the name Pius, either by his deification of Hadrian or sparing the lives of senators Hadrian had sentenced to death. Early in his reign, he would conquer southern Caledonia and build the Antonine Wall. Antoninus was an effective administrator, leaving his successors a large surplus in the treasury, expanding free access to drinking water throughout the empire, encouraging legal conformity, and facilitating the enfranchisement of freed slaves. He died of illness in 161 and was succeeded by his adopted sons, Marcus Aurelius and Lucius Varys, as co-emperors. Lucius Varys was the adopted son of Antoninus Pius, joint emperor with his adoptive brother Marcus Aurelius. He was a member of the Nerva-Antonine dynasty. Varus's succession together with Marcus Aurelius marked the first time that the Roman Empire was ruled by multiple emperors, an increasingly common occurrence in the later history of the empire. Born on the 15th of December 130, he was the eldest son of Lucius Aelius Caesar, first adopted son and heir to Hadrian. Raised and educated in Rome, he held several political offices prior to taking the throne. After his biological father's death in 138, he was adopted by Antoninus Pius, who was himself adopted by Hadrian. Hadrian died later that year, and Antoninus Pius succeeded to the throne. Antoninus Pius would rule the empire until 161, when he died and was succeeded by Varus and his adoptive brother Marcus Aurelius. As emperor, the majority of his reign was occupied by his direction of the war with Parthia, which ended in Roman victory and some territorial gains. After initial involvement in the Marcomannic Wars, he fell ill of the Antonine Plague and died, along with about 5 to 10 million people, in 169. He was deified by the Roman Senate as the divine Varus, Divus Varus. Marcus Aurelius was the fifth and last of the 5 good emperors, son-in-law and adopted son of Antoninus Pius, grandnephew of Hadrian. He was the last emperor of the Pax Romana and served as Roman consul in 140, 145, and 161. He married Antoninus's daughter, Faustina, in 145. Marcus defeated the Marcomanni, Quadi, and Sarmatian Iazyges in the Marcomannic Wars. He modified the silver purity of the Roman currency, the denarius. The persecution of Christians in the Roman Empire appears to have increased during his reign, but his involvement in this is unlikely, as early Christians living in the 2nd century never claimed him as a persecutor, and Tertullian even called Marcus a protector of Christians. Unlike some of his predecessors, Marcus chose not to adopt an heir. His children included Lucilla, who married Lucius, and Commodus. The column and equestrian statue of Marcus Aurelius still stand in Rome, where they were erected in celebration of his military victories. He would write his book on Stoicism named Meditations. Commodus was the last of the Nerva-Antonine dynasty, the son of Marcus Aurelius and the first emperor to be elevated during his predecessor's lifetime. His reign is commonly thought of as marking the end of the Pax Romana. Commodus accompanied his father during the Marcomannic Wars in 172 and on a tour of the eastern provinces in 176. Later that year, he became the youngest emperor and consul up to that point, at the age of 15. During his solo reign, the Roman Empire enjoyed reduced military conflict compared with the reign of Marcus Aurelius. Intrigues and conspiracies abounded, leading Commodus to revert to an increasingly dictatorial style of leadership, culminating in his creating of a deific personality cult, with his performing as a gladiator in the Colosseum. Throughout his reign, Commodus entrusted the management of affairs to his palace chamberlain and praetorian prefects named Sauterus, Perennis, and Cleander. Commodus's assassination in 192 by a wrestler in the bath marked the end of the Nerva-Antonine dynasty. He was succeeded by Pertinax, the first emperor in the tumultuous year of the 5 emperors.